I cannot even imagine what it would be like to live as a Palestinian. And I'm not even talking about Gaza because everybody talks about Gaza. But let me give you an example. And I'm not going to talk about the 12,000 kids killed in Gaza. Let's talk about just like the 4 weeks in the West Bank. March 4th, Amr Najjar, age 10, sitting next to his father, shot while he's sitting in a car next to his father by the IDF soldiers. Mohammed Ziad, 13 years old, March 3rd, shot in front of a UN school while sitting with his friends. Mohammed Ghanem, age 15, March 2nd, he shot while standing in front of a storefront during a night raid. February 23rd, Saeed Jardal, he was killed by a drone fire. February 22nd, Fadi Suleiman, killed while standing in front of the top of a Red Cross building. Nihil Ziad, February 14th, Valentine's Day, killed, a shot in the head while leaving school. February 11th, Mohammed Khattour, US citizens, killed while being in a parked car. And Mu'adh Shams, February 9th, killed right in front of his home because a military car came reversing back to him, and then somebody opened the door, shot him, and leave. This is a daily life of people in the West Bank.
What is the justification that IDF provides?
Terrorism.
Or
I don't know, I mean, you cannot really say like human shields, but they would say like they were throwing rocks. There was a guy who went on Chris Rock and he said like his son, a US citizen, was killed, and it's like they were throwing rocks, so we killed him. Even when they were throwing rocks, you kill him. But the thing is, you see, this is how easy for them to get rid of Palestinians. I mean, I love, like, I had to say I prepared a little bit for the podcast because you are in tech. So, and I am ignorant in tech. There is a movie called The Lab. It is directed by an Israeli director called Yotam Feldman. And he talks about how the military industry in Israel is very advanced. And what is really mind-boggling is in that movie, he shows how the military tests its weapons in the field in urban areas on Palestinians. It is heartbreaking. You know, as a doctor, there's 5 stages of trials. There is there's discovery, preclinical, clinical, and then market, and then post-market evaluation by the FDA. The FDA approval, and then the FDA post-market. 5 just to take a pill. And you go in, and he interviews people as like, where did you test this? They test it in the field. So when you just like, when human life is so cheap and it is so indispensable, it gave me a visceral reaction. Because, you know, we as this has been actually the state of humanity. Humanity have lived and survived and thrived by actually killing each other. But there was kind of like we were removed from it. People in Greece didn't know what Alexander the Great was doing. He was killing and pillaging, and like we call him the Great but he was killing. He was conquering. He was invading. Julius Caesar, all of the greats, he was doing. But killing was difficult. Killing had to have some sort. You have to be with your enemy. Then you go back, catapults, then cannons, then a little bit back, and then you're kind of like starting remotely. Now you're killing people behind the screen with a push of a button. You know, a lot of people say terrorism. They killed you with a knife, killed one person with a knife, shot you. That's terrorism. But if you fly a $64 million F-16 and you drop up an A-84 bomb that costs $16,000, that's not terrorism because it's remote. You're behind the screen. So what happened? What Israel is doing? It is removing itself, like America too, drones. And then when you push someone to be they always brag about bombing them to the Stone Ages. What happens when the screens and all of the obstacles that you have been put between you and those people that you have treated them this way, when this is a breach and you come face to face, you will come face to face with what you have created.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things you just said. So one is the methodology of killing. If you want to look at some horrific, large-scale killing, people often talk about the Holocaust, but that's visceral. You can look at Holodomor by Stalin, where the murder is through starvation.
by Churchill in India.
in Churchill in India, and The Great Leap Forward by Mao.
Yep.
So starvation is a thing we don't often think of it as murder because it's quiet, it's slow, and the interesting thing about starvation is that the people don't complain as they're dying because they're exhausted. That's one. And the other is the value of human life. It does seem that every culture has a unequal valuation of human life. So those two things combined create a complicated military landscape of the world.
Yes, but the thing is that how we would look at technology as the savior. As we talk about how AI will disrupt. And now if you talk about like going to the West Bank, the people in the West Bank walk and they don't see humans. They see people shouting them from towers or behind the screens and they have like biometrics that is developed by Basel system, like that's done by HP or Google and Amazon, who are like part of Project Nimbus. And you see IndyVision developing all of this like metric and surveillance and all of that stuff. And then you have like something like the gospel that like people have actually said that like the gospel can actually create a target list using AI and give you a green, yellow, or a red to go ahead. And now AI is not just disrupting the market, it's disrupting our humanity. And we became so comfortable killing people from afar, killing people with a push of the button. And now it is like, it's like dating apps, when you swipe left and right, and it's like, oh, right, it becomes so like cheap. It's not like meeting someone. It's like, it's like a lot of fish in the sea. Same with AI. Boom, 500 people killed. Boom, they killed. It's so easy. And then it's so far removed from you. So when you put these people in this condition, you have literally put them in a different universe than yours. You are behind in your air-conditioned screens, like pushing them, blowing up a university. It's amazing. But then you meet what you have done. That you meet the Frankenstein that you have created. And then people are like, oh, look what they did to us.
You just gave me this image of a dating app from hell where leaders are just sitting there and kind of swiping left and
like,
right.
Invade, destroy.
Just bored,
like
laying in bed.
Puppet government.
Yeah, and then turn off the phone, go to sleep.